Rashad Vaughn here at the Reebok Breakout Camp. Rashad, just trying to find out, obviously different college coaches come at you with different pitches, different styles, as far as how they trying to communicate. Is there a certain style with coaches that, resonates best with you, whether it be, just their vision for you or just how they communicate? Is there anything that fits best with you so far that's really stuck out?
When a coach comes to a lot of my games, and they try to make an effort come to every game, then that really stands out to me.
How about on the phone as well? Obviously, some coaches can talk a lot. Being a former coach, I know I was one of those guys. But someone will speak to you about 40, 45 minutes and really try and get into some things, and maybe some will only speak to you for 10 or 15 minutes. What's been the consistent pattern? Have you had some really long conversations with coaches, or has it been some short for the most part on the phone?
Yeah, some coaches talk a lot, some coaches talk a little, but there's a couple coaches that call me and it's like after a game and tell me what I did wrong instead of just saying, "Oh, you're the best and we want you." Then some coaches will actually talk to me like I go to the school and you did this, you need to do this, and so that I enjoy that too, because I don't like getting praised all the time. I like to hear what I'm doing wrong if I can get better, and to hear that from a college on the college level, I think that's good for me to develop my game more.
And I'm curious to say, gotten to know you a little bit. I think you're a smart guy. I think you read people well. Do you feel for the most part the coaches, especially maybe the group that are coming at you hard, have been really honest with you? Because obviously, as we know, sometimes coaches can try and sell things, to try and make their situation seem good. Do you feel that it's been a pretty good level of honesty?
Yeah, I feel all the coaches that I've talked to, it's a good level of honesty there, and I got a good relationship with really all of them, so that's why I haven't narrowed my list yet, because it's hard. But yeah, I feel that they've been honest.
Do you have any guys that you knew from the Minnesota area that are playing college now that you're reaching out to, or maybe you've leaned on for some advice through this process? Is there any guys, maybe former players or anybody that's really helped you?
Rodney Williams from the Gophers, I talked to him a lot, and I talked to Royce White, who went to Iowa State and got drafted. I talked to him a couple times about college, so that's about it, really.
You've been a marquee name now for a couple of years. There's obviously been a handful of schools that have been tied to you for a while: North Carolina, Kentucky, Iowa State, Minnesota, schools like that. Is there any new schools that are kind of come at you now in the obviously through June and at this point that maybe you're starting to give a look that maybe you weren't earlier in the spring or a year ago?
UCLA just got on the scene, and I'm getting a relationship with them too quick, and UNLV and
Tennessee.
Not Tennessee. They've been.
Oh, they've been in it for a while. Okay, because
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of fans maybe associated Tennessee with you. And now, is it going to be pretty hard, since you talked about being in a relationship, guys? Is it going to be hard? Pretty hard for a school now to come in and try and make up for lost ground for some of the schools that have been in for a year, or you think it shouldn't be a problem?
It shouldn't be a problem. If I feel like it's a good fit and if the coaches is making effort, then if a school come late, then they gonna try to make the extra effort and do stuff because they late. So as long as the relationship's there and I think it's a good fit, then it's really not a problem.
If we can, now let's just focus on your game a little bit. I think everyone who's followed you, the Junkies certainly, and consistent fans know that you're a three-level scorer. You can score from behind the arc with deep range, you can pull up at will, and you can certainly finish to the rim with your strength, length, and athleticism. But now, what are you trying, now at this stage of your game, again, probably the elite offensive two-guard in the class. At this point now, in June, heading into your senior year, what parts of your skill game, we talked about a little earlier, your handle obviously is something you're trying to stay on. Is there anything else? You and I have talked a little bit about shot selection. What areas of your skill game are you trying, as far as your package, are you trying to add at this stage?
I'm just trying to work on being more efficient, taking better shots, and I like to go left a lot, so I'm working on going right as well, and just working on every aspect of my game. You can never be too good, so I just try to perfect everything.
Again, college coach, we got to get a little hardcore with this, right? So and obviously you have the mid-range pull-up game is your thing, but how about as far as mixing in floaters? Is that the kind of thing you're trying to work on even a little bit more? How about even maybe Euro steps in the open court, things that obviously add a little bit more dimension to your one-on-one game or just your scoring capacity?
Yeah, because I'm a scorer, but I think most of my points is hard, somebody hand in my face. So I try to work. I want to work on stuff where I don't make as much energy, like you said, a floater or just a jab to get them going and a pull up, just stuff that you really ain't got to use as much energy,
Exactly.
to be more efficient, like scoring without even using the dribble, stuff like that. So that's what I'm really trying to work on, footwork and stuff.
Yeah, a couple things that, even the Euro steps in the open court, maybe you can avoid some contact, obviously take a little stress off that. Even up fakes and stuff on the perimeter, shot fakes that can alleviate guys coming at you and that kind of thing. And so that's good. How about now, I'm curious to ask you at this stage, do you feel there's an area that maybe it's the media just are sleeping on a part of your game? Maybe even defensively. I got to tell you, I love seeing you get in that wide stance. You look comfortable in that. That's something that transfers to college. Not a lot of guys feel comfortable in the stance. I mean, do you feel maybe defensively or even passing? I think even at this event, you've shown a good eye, for finding people and good timing. Is one of those areas something that you take pride in that you don't get a lot of, press for?
Yeah, I think I can pass. I can one-on-one get teammates involved, and I can find people and get people open and make my teammates better. And if you watch me on the court, you'll see I want to guard the best player every time. So I think that's another thing I like. Anybody, I don't care who you are or anything, I want to guard you. So I think that's a part of my game that a lot of people don't notice.
And just, final thought with the mental state of it. Obviously, you're just a kid in high school, so, it's a lot to ask for you, obviously, to be flawless and not maybe sometimes playing to emotion but is there a certain part of the game, obviously, that, with maturity you're trying, whether it is more of a killer instinct, whether you talked about in conditioning, maybe it's obviously fighting through, fatigue or those kind of things, or is it just overall body language that sometimes maybe, can get the best of all of us? What kind of areas as far as the mental state you're trying to grow?
Mental state, I'm used to, when I step on a court, I'm going to do what I got to do and say, not because of who I am, somebody want to come at me.
Yeah.
And now that they coming at me, I wait for them to throw the first punch before, I really start trying to go at them. And so I'm just trying to work on, as soon as I step on the court, I just want to kill everybody. So that's really what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, and the thing about it is you're not a talker, you're not a guy, but you can always tell a guy who's intense and is a champ. You can tell in their eyes. And I think, sometimes with a guy like you're so smooth that sometimes people don't feel like maybe you're playing hard enough and that kind of thing. And so, sometimes you get a bad rap with that. But overall, it's great to see that you're invested in growth, and I know even talking to your dad a little bit, he's someone that you share a lot of conversations with, right, about that growth. And just let me ask you one last thing in that regard. Do you feel, obviously as a kid entering your senior year, do you feel like sometimes there is a little bit too much pressure on you as far as game to game, event to event, to try and have to obviously live up to, the 5-star status or the #1, shooting guard in the country?
It's gonna always be pressure, but I don't really let it get to me. I just really go out there and play, just play hard. If you play hard at the end of the day, man, as long as you play hard, it's really nobody can say anything. So, but I feel like I have to come out and perform every time. So.
All right, so you're just that kind of competitor, right? Every time you're going in. All right, well, that's Rashad Vaughn. I'm Coach Bill here at the Reebok Classic. Look out for Iowa Elites mixtapes on Rashad coming from this event.
All we know is eat.